Welcome to the first edition of Showtime Sports on the Neumann Sports Network, powered by Neumann Media. I'm your host, Ryan Stokeland, alongside Reggie Coleman and Rafiq Williams. Rafiq, Reg, what did y'all see that first game with Notre Dame, Maryland, and, of course, our Lady Knights?
Well, the Lady Knights obviously had control of the game, and they really put the pressure on them with a press that Notre Dame really just couldn't get out of, and they controlled the whole game. I'm glad Knights pulled it through and got the win.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Knights, our Lady Knights, they definitely handled that team. That team, Notre Dame and Maryland, is last in the conference, so they handled what they did. And but our girls have to work on their free throws. They missed more than 10 free throws, so that's something they have to work on next practice.
Shooting 19 for 31 at the foul line isn't going to win the game. Mark Blunt over there said it best. His coach said that free throws helps win games, of course. But tell me how shocked you were last year. They played Notre Dame, and it was just a blowout game, so to speak. And in the beginning of the game, Notre Dame came out. You know, they had a lot of intensity. Tell me how shocked you were by that.
Well, they're really a new team with one senior, so it's a lot of freshmen and transfers coming in. It takes time. The chemistry has to build up, but they still took care of business. I know Farnese is going to tell them they have a lot to do, a lot to work on. Like you said, the free throws. It's just going up to the line, taking a deep breath, and knocking it down.
I agree with Feek, and also I feel like our Lady Knights, they came into the game taking them lightly since they are one of the bottom teams in the conference. So from here on out, they have to take every game like it's a playoff game because they are battling for a playoff spot. So they have to take every game like it's a championship game.
Yes, and just looking at the second half, of course, what really turned it up for us? You know, we wasn't really shooting all that good. What really turned it up for you guys that you saw in the second half that was MIA, missing in action in the first half?
Well, like I said, they turned it up on the pressure. The press was there the whole time. Notre Dame had, I believe, like 19 turnovers in the first half, and they just kept the pressure on in the second half. And it really surprised me showed me that they weren't gassed, they weren't breathing heavy for air, they were real well conditioned.
Second half, like Feek said, turned up the pressure, pressed, got it into the Johanna Metzger in the post, and then once they did that, they started getting open threes, and once they started knocking threes down, the game was really over.
Speaking of Johanna Metzger, Reg, like you said, they was throwing it in the post to her. She finished off with 20 points. She's a veteran, so to speak, in the college spectrum. So tell me about her leadership role, how much value she brings to the team. You know, I think in the first half she was kind of slow, but like you said, they picked it up and they threw it down to her. But what is her value to the team?
Oh, she's everything to the team. She's the heart and soul, if I may say.
Yeah.
She won Rookie of the Year. She came into this season with an injury, so this is her 5th or 6th game back. So she's still getting in the swing of things, but she's the heart and soul of these Lady Knights, and how far she takes them is how far they will go.
Yeah. Feek, what about you, man?
I have to agree with Reg. Like you said, with the injury, this is like her 5th game back. She's just getting back under her feet, and as you said, a veteran, she has to show these freshmen and transfers how the game is played and really be a leadership.
20 points. One big impact, another big impact was the point guard Fernandez. This girl can flat out ball. Reg, being a point guard and, you know, letting your opponent know height isn't, you know, the big part, it's the heart. Tell me about how shocked you were that this girl just flat out ball with 15 points.
I was very shocked, actually, watching the game. She was getting to the basket, not afraid of the bigger – everybody's probably bigger on the court than she is. And I can contest to that. But, yeah, she was doing what she knew she can do. And she was getting to the basket, getting her teammates open, being the point guard that she is. And she ended up with 15 points to help lead her team to a win.
Feek, what about you? I mean, you got to say if you had a little guard like that coming up to you and they're challenging you every time, how do you feel about that? Like, how do you think about the heart that she has?
She has a lot of heart, obviously. She actually reminds me of Reg with last year, a small guard, but showed a lot of heart, used her speed, got a lot of the steals. And like I said about that pressure, she was the beginning of that press. She's the one that forced the guards to turn them over, and they let them walk the ball up the court.
And, you know, I don't want to say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but we have a child prodigy on our women's basketball team with Lauren Legler. Of course, we all know her dad is, you know, the great Tim Legler, ESPN sports broadcaster, but besides just the family skills and talent that she possessed, she really can play. And I don't think that should be, undermined. How you guys feel about her?
Well, she can obviously shoot the ball. I was at the last game, and her father was in the stand. And every time she touched it, he told her to shoot the ball, so she can just flat out shoot. She's trying to work her way in the system to find her role, and she's still trying to look for a good selection of shots. But as long as she's open, it's a knockdown.
I agree. She's a transfer, so the chemistry still isn't all the way there. Yeah. But it's getting there. Every time she's open, it's going up, and it's either going in, and if she misses, it's going in and out. Yeah. So it has a chance. So if for them to go far, they need to find ways to get her open, whether it be screens or driving kicks, and they have to get her open so she can knock down her threes.
Yeah, speaking of that, just open up, spreading the floor, the value of a shooter. How important is that to the team, that we have another shooter? Because, of course, we know that Jess, the point guard, she can shoot. She's not a consistent shooter, one would say, like, of course, a Ray Allen, but, she can shoot. She has a good percentage. So how is it important, how much important is it to have shooters on your team?
Oh, it's definitely important. It gives Jess the opportunity to have a lot more one-on-one, and the defense not have to worry about her so much. They also have to worry about the shooter on the outside. So if Jess can get past her defender instead of drawing attention, if she draws attention, she can kick it out. Otherwise, now she has an open layup or possibly a foul and go to the line.
Having shooters on your team brings great versatility. You can shoot the ball, you can throw it inside. And with Fernandez as the point guard now, Jess can play off the ball with Lauren, and they both can spot up. And now you have Fernandez who can score, but also can get her teammates involved, her shooters as well, and make it easier for everybody else on the court when you have a small, energetic point guard like Fernandez.
Okay, you know what? We had a great input on this first game. We're going to see what Mark and Christian have to talk about over there. Christian?
How you guys doing? Thanks, Ryan. How you guys doing? I mean, we were here on the floor, and I mean, me and Mark talked about it during the game. The energy from Fernandez really kind of sparked Newman in that first half, I would say, because they ran that press, and she got a few turnovers, to start when she was active on that press. She was the lead girl on that press, and it got a couple easy buckets. That's what we saw from here.
It started with Fernandez, start right on the ball. Once she's picked it up, being energetic, it carried on through the whole team. So that's what they got the team, the steals, not transition points, but points from steals. So Fernandez was a huge factor in the beginning on that run.
And how was Christian, Mark? How effective was the post game with Joanna?
I mean, we were talking about it, and Mark being a former post player here for Newman, he talked about the positioning. Really, Mark, you can elaborate on that better than I can.
Well, being a big CSEC for 4 years is all about position. Coaches emphasize that before games, after games, practices. Position is a major step. And Joanna, she had good positioning and able to finish more than half. She probably could have finished with over 30-plus points. But coming out with the double-double, she did good.
Yeah. Guys, what did you think about the freshman guard for Notre Dame? She had 30 points, I think. Whitaker. I'm not sure if you guys are watching it in there, but she certainly put it was certainly a bright spot for Notre Dame, I would say.
Oh yeah, she definitely was doing whatever she wanted in a sense. She was getting to the basket. She was hitting short jumpers. She didn't really have much help, being that Notre Dame is one of the bottom teams in the conference, but she definitely did what she wanted out there on the court, being that she did have 30 points. So she got whatever she wanted, but she just needs a team with her to help her out.
Thanks, Christian and Mark, and we'll see you guys in the beginning of the next game with Cabrini and Newman.
All right.
So Cabrini, Newman, the rumble in the jungle, fellas, as we can say. Being some former alumni to the team, you guys pretty much already know what to expect with this game. The intensity, the jitters, the crowd, the coaches, the rivalry, everything that this game means. So, what are you guys thinking right now for this game? How big is this game right now?
Oh, it's definitely a big game with the conference being so tight and wide open. this could possibly change their whole season. And me as a former player, every time we played Cabrini, like you said, everyone was talking about it, teachers we'd even know. And it's just about clearing your mind and doing what you have to do. Like, we have never beat them in the last 5 years, and I think it would be because of so much hype. I mean, we might talk a lot. Talk is cheap in this league when it comes down to getting on the floor and actually doing it.
Oh, this game is huge.
Yeah.
For both teams, I would say. Newman, haven't beat him in 5 years, like Feek said. And it seems like every time Cabrini gets on this court against a Newman team, their energy level just rises. And they feel like they can't lose to Newman. And I don't know why, but Newman this year I feel has the best chance because not only are they tied for first place, they have some great athletes on the team. And Cabrini, on the other hand, they're on a downfall, I would say, with a new coach. A couple seniors leaving last year. They still do have Aaron Walton-Moss and Vinny Walls, but they are on the downfall. So Newman has a great chance to win this rivalry game.
Like that downfall you was just talking about, Reg. We're so used to seeing Cabrini being like the top dog, so to speak, and let's get this king off their throne, so to speak. But Cabrini is 6-5 this year. Newman, we're 7-3 for conference play. That's us in the front, leading the round at first place, and Cabrini's 6th in the conference. Tell me how big this is. If you're Cabrini, I know it's going to be hard for you two to answer this question because you would never picture yourself in a Cabrini jersey. But man, tell me about that. How do you guys think that their mental mindset is on this, the fact that they're 6th and Newman is 1st?
Well, if I'm Cabrini and I'm saying, hey, we won this league for the last 5 years, this is straight disrespect. This is not us. This is not Cabrini basketball.
Yeah.
This is not Cabrini basketball. And Newman, the team we beat by 20 last year, twice, and they beat us by 20 this year. It's disrespect. We need to come out here and show Newman that we are still the Cabrini. That's how I am if I'm a Cabrini player.
If I'm Cabrini, I'm feeling the same way. Like, one, we shouldn't lose to Newman, even though our records don't say our records say otherwise. Yeah. And also, every game for Cabrini from now on should be a winning game. Like, they have to win. Yep. Every game is a must-win because you're 6th in the playoffs. If you lose one game, now you may be out of the playoffs, and only 6 teams make it. So you can't lose 1 or 2 more games and feel comfortable that you may still make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of Newman, they're 1st in the conference. So what do you think that their mindset should be? Should they get, you know how you can be 1st in the conference and you get a little cocky, you think you can brag, you got some, stain behind your name. So how do you think that they should come into this game?
Well, they shouldn't come, like you said, cocky. They should never come in cocky. They should always respect Cabrini because, like I said, early in the year they beat us by 21 points, and we were actually up 12 at halftime. So anything can happen. We shouldn't come in cocky and comfortable because, like I said, Cabrini's not coming in. They're coming in feeling disrespected. They're really trying to state their name as Cabrini College in this league.
I think Newman had a loss that was a blessing in disguise last week to Centenary.
Yeah.
By them losing that game, it brought them back down to being level-headed. They know now that they can't take any team lightly. Now that you're number 1, every team is going at you and giving you their all. So that loss to Centenary, I feel like, brought them down. And now playing the next game being Cabrini, everybody should be on the right mindset, have the right mindset, be together, and the coaches should be extra ready with the scouting reports, and they should be more than ready for this game against Cabrini.
You know what? You're right, absolutely right about that, Red. They should be more than ready. Earlier this week, Rafiq had an opportunity to talk with Coach Rulo about the big game against Cabrini. Let's take a look at what Coach had to say going into this game.
Hi, I'm Rafiq Williams, and I'm here with head coach of Neumann University basketball team, Coach Rulo. This is my Knights insider. Coach, I just have a couple questions for you and your team this year. Obviously, you guys are tied with Immaculata at first place. How do you feel about the season so far? What's been happening?
I think right now, overall, we're happy to be in first place, but I think trying to be as optimistic as possible. It's a good thing, but there's a lot of areas of improvement. I think one area that we struggle right now is scoring the basketball and playing at home. I think guys may put a little bit more of an undue pressure on themselves, but all things being considered, this conference is wide open, and I think if we come out with the intention to guard and play defense and follow out our defensive assignments, we'll put ourselves in a pretty good position at the end of the year.
Yeah. I was actually at the last Cabrini game you guys played them. You guys went up 1 going into the half and went up 12 points. And Cabrini obviously beat you guys by like 21 points. How do you approach this game differently? What do you think you need to do differently?
Yeah, I think if you were to look at the first half, we threw a little 1-3-1 at them, and they struggled a little bit. And I think when you look in the second half, we jumped them a little bit and got up 9, about 16 minutes to go, and then they went on like a 27-0 run. We burned a couple timeouts, but they have firepower. They're number 1 in the conference with offense for a reason, because they have the player of the year. They have Vinny Walls, which obviously he shoots about 42% from 3. But I think at the same time, if we're tighter and we focus in on our attention to detail, I think we'll do a better job on them this time around.
All right. You guys are 7-3, like I said. Last year we ended 20-10. Obviously losing to Cabrini. Is there anything differently that you guys are doing this year, or is there guys that need to step up to get back to our championship run?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at both sides, both teams, we made our mark, or we're making our mark on the defensive end of the floor. However, when you look at last year's team, you have point guard and Reggie Coleman, second team all-conference, and first team all-conference player Mark Blunt, which they gave you a stability factor that we're lacking right now. And as a result, I think we should to score the basketball, due in large part because we struggle getting into an offensive set and executing the plays. We're coming along, we're getting better, but we're not at that point right now, and hopefully the next 8-9 games of the year we'll make strides to kind of make that stretch run like we did last year. So that's what we're hoping for.
I know you're a big guy on defense. Is there like a goal or objective you guys set, percentage you want to hold teams to every game?
Yeah, I think if you were to look at statistics, the big number is the field goal percent defense, which if you're holding teams under 40%, that's pretty good. And right now, overall, for the whole season, we're at 39. And unfortunately, that's keeping us in games. But at the same time, we have to put the ball in the basket. We have to do a much better job of finishing plays. We have to do a much better job of executing. And quite frankly, we got to do a much better job of when we do execute and get fouled, of making free throws. The last game against Centenary, when you lose a game by 8 points and you're 15 for 29 from the foul line, you can look at that as a huge contributor to why you fell short.
All right. Thank you, Coach Rulo. We're here. We appreciate your time here with us on Showtime Sports. Back to the game.
No problem.
So, Rafiq, after that conversation, what did you really get the most out of that, that interaction with Coach Rulo, of course?
Well, one thing he said, big thing, like I said, he's a big defensive guy. So their main thing, they try to hold teams under a certain shooting percentage. They try to hold guys under their average. And another thing he said was execution. Execution. If you watch the games, it seems like some of the guys might go blank. They might not know the plays. It's just the heat of the moment, sweat and tears, playing a game of basketball. Sometimes you might go blank. He says you need to focus on executing.
Reg, do you want to add anything to that?
Oh, yeah. If the guys on Newman, if they trust the offense, they'll do fine. If they start venturing out on one-by-one, playing one-on-one ball against Cabrini, they won't be successful, and they will lose by 20 again, as past years have. One
thing I noticed that he said, that he kind of hit on, that they're not shooting as good in the past as they have in the past. And another thing, he actually mentioned Reg and the big man, the former big man Mark Blunt. So tell me about Reg, just seeing on the outside looking in, your absence. He said you guys was that sustainable force that held them together. What was that? What's just outside looking in? What can you see? Can you see that missing piece, and what would they need to do to kind of fill the void?
Well, right now, outside looking in, I don't see them having that vocal leader. Even though I wasn't the vocal leader, I led by example. But they don't have that point guard who settles the offense down when things are getting out of control. They don't have the point guard who sets up the offense even when coach doesn't call anything. So if they find that piece late here in the season, they'll be successful in the playoffs and actually win a game or even the championship if they can find that guy who wants to take on that role to be the leader of that team.
Reg, you're absolutely right. Reg, being the veteran point guard or retired point guard from Neumann University, how about you enlighten us on your keys to the game for Newman to take this W?
All right, well, my first key to the game is Newman has to attack the basket. They have to get to the rim. Cabrini does play zone, but find the gaps in that zone and attack the rim, attack their big guys, make sure that they get them in foul trouble to make the game easier. And also, if they are in man, you should attack Vinny Walls and Aaron Walton-Moss because they lack on the defensive side of things. So if you can do that, attack the basket, get them in foul trouble, things will look up for Newman. My second key is Newman has to trust one another. They have to make plays for each other, not just for themselves. If you trust one another, like I said before, things will be easy for you. If you go out on your own, want to do one-on-one because it's a big game, it's Cabrini, you won't be successful, and they will win by 20. I keep saying it, but that's reality. And my third key is defense. Like Coach Rulo said, defense is going to win them the game. If you don't play defense, if you don't take pride in stopping your man and making sure he doesn't score, then it will be a long night for you. But if you take pride in saying to yourself, if each person says to themselves, my man won't score, then that's a great mindset to have. And if each person is saying that, then the bench is on your side, and now the coach has confidence in everybody on the bench and on the court. So it's just defense makes everything better for the team.
Thanks, Rez, for the keys to the game. Me and Rafiq want to hit on some of the things you said. One of the things that I like that you said was trust in your teammates. A lot of times, just by being a fan of Newman and also being a student here, when I come to the games, I see like a lackadaisical attitude on the bench. Tell me how important it is for bench players or when players that's not in the game. Tell me how important it is for them to be just as excited as if they were in the game, the college game right now.
Well, when we last played Cabrini at Cabrini, and we went on that 12-point run, Cabrini stayed in it, and they eventually took the lead. And when they took the lead, if you looked on the bench, a lot of guys had their heads down, or the guys come to the bench banging on the chairs, and it just like they were defeated. Yeah. The guys on the bench should be the guys coming up to, hey, let's stay with it, let's stay with it, let's stay with it. We're always cheering on our teammates. It shows a less selfishness. I don't care who's out there on the court. Yeah. As long as we win, that's all I care about. I'm gonna cheer you on, no matter whatever it is. We win or lose, I'm gonna cheer you guys on.
Yeah, being a former player, from when the ball is tipped, that's when the bench should be interactive, and when 0-0-0 is on the clock, that's when they should stop cheering. Actually, even if you don't play much, you still should be engaged because you're taking a lot of time out of your personal time and school life to be a college basketball player, no matter what the level is. And if you shouldn't be wasting your time if you're not going to be engaged to the fullest. So the bench is key because if they have the other players see them cheering for them, it makes them play better and it makes them trust that next person even more. Yeah.
Because I would have an attitude like, man, I'm coming in, I'm working, my hardest out here, and I'm coming out the game, and you're over here pouting. One thing, Brad, is that you said your first key, matter of fact, attacking the basket. This forward, Butler, our freshman, he attacks the basket like, he's a madman sometimes. Like he's going to the rack no matter what. Nobody can stop him. Tell me how important that is for this team. Like I know you talked about it, but this one guy, the way he attacks the basket is like no other on the team that I see.
I feel like if he can control his aggressiveness and not turn them into charges, then he's a force to be reckoned with in this league. He's a freshman. He gets to the basket. He gets to the free throw line. He can hit the mid-range jumper from the free throw line. And he dunks the ball whenever he gets the chance. He doesn't care who's in the lane. He's going to try to dunk that ball. So if he can control that aggressiveness, then he has a bright future here at Newman and in the CSAC.
That's it for the Showtime Sports. We're going to send back over to Christian and Mark for the first half of the game. And we'll rejoin you at the halftime. For Reggie, Rafiq, and I'm Ryan Stokeland, thanks for watching Showtime Sports. See you at the half.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Mirenda Center for Game 2 of our doubleheader. Mark Blunt along Neumann down to 5 and 4. He's going to have to put one up. Green down to 2. Puts up a 40-footer off front rim. Moss comes up with a rebound, and that is halftime. So, what a first half it was. I mean, that game is just...
You can see it on his face.
Energized. And you see Andrew Moy cross in front of us.
Yeah.
That was just an energized game, completely energized throughout that entire first half. It's incredible. I mean, it's nothing you're, new to.
Isn't it? Yeah, I live for games like this. It gets everyone energized, get them pumped. But they have to come out second half. It's a new clock. First 20, they're going to have to bring it again.
And, I mean, how many times have you been in a position where you're up at the half on Cabrini?
Probably once.
Only once?
Probably once or twice.
What was the mindset? Did you guys end up winning that game, or do you remember?
Yeah, freshman year, I remember we won that game.
Do you remember what the mindset was of your team at halftime?
Don't let up.
Don't let up.
Just don't let up.
I guess that would be to run the floor and keep running in transition, because that's what they're doing that well. They're doing that really well.
Yeah.
So, again, halftime 37-31, and we are going to go over to Showtime Sports with Ryan Stokeling, Rafiq Williams, and Reggie Coleman for the halftime show, and we will see you back here in about 15 minutes for the second half.
Thank you, Christian and Mark. Wow, what an excellent half that was. Just being a fan and just being a lover of the game, man, and also being a Neumann Knight. So, guys, tell me what you saw that first half, just the back and forth, the excitement. What happened?
Well, first of all, Deshaun Loman. Oh, my God.
Oh, he brought it out.
He's eating.
Rafiq brought it out.
He's eating. He has 15 points, 6 rebounds. He's literally putting the team on his back. Butler also has 7 points and 4 rebounds, and Drew is carried with 6 rebounds. It's the hustle. They're out hustling him. They're just out hustling him, and they're playing great defense. I'm real impressed.
On the other hand, on the Cabrini side, Aaron Walton-Moss is having, many would say, a horrible game. He only has 4 points. He has 6 rebounds, and he has 7 turnovers in the first half. And his team has 9, I believe.
Yeah.
That's not good at all. But a player that is playing well is Vinny Walls, who he only has 5 points, but he's hitting the open shots when he has it. They're not creating many shots for their shooters. So
right.
Second half, if Cabrini wants to come back and win, they have to play together and trust one another, or they might lose by 20 this time around.
You know what? Coach Rulo is doing some good coaching, some great coaching, I may say. Tell me about the defensive scheme. Reg, that was one of your keys to the game, So what is he doing defensively that is shutting them down? 31 points and a half.
Well, first thing I saw was they're playing zone. Usually, coaches before Rulo and Rulo himself prided themselves on playing man-to-man, stop your man. But at some point, you have to realize that some things don't work for certain teams. And so against Cabrini, it's smart to play zone because especially this team, they don't have many shooters. And if you lock up and everybody's watching, basically Moss, he can't do what he wants when it's man-to-man. So this zone is helping Newman out a lot.
Pete, what about you, man? What are you seeing that's really working for them on defense?
To piggyback off of Reg, like you said, the zone is really – it's bothering Aaron Moss, the main player on their team. And the weak side zone is doing a great job when Aaron Moss throws the skip pass.
Yeah.
They're closing out on shooters. They're not jumping, and they're contesting shots, and they're rebounding. No second chance points. I'm really impressed. I love it. I love it. What's going on right now?
Now, we actually took a walk over to the gym and watched a little bit of the game for 10 minutes. And when we were over there, it just looked like a regular Newman versus Cabrini game. You know, Deshaun Norman came out with some intensity, but the team was dry. And then we come back over here, and they went on a run. Can you tell me what do you guys think sparked that from when we was actually at the game, and then we came back over here to the studio watching the game?
Well, before we walked out, I believe there was a steal, and James Butler chased down for a major block.
Yeah.
And that got the crowd into the game because when the game started, the crowd wasn't really into the game. And when you have a crowd behind you, anything can happen. I think that really gave a spark to the bench and also the players on the court.
Oh, yeah, as Feek said, that block was a momentum shifter. He blocked it, and they went on a fast break, and I believe they got a foul. So things like that can turn a run into the opposing team's run. And we left the gym. They were up. Cabrini were up 9.
Yep.
We come back to the studio. Newman is up 7. Yeah. So you see how quick things can change. So if they stick together this second half, they'll be fine.
What is the importance of capitalizing off of turnovers? Both teams are horrible with the ball. You know, they're acting like the ball is a bar of soap right now. They're slipping right out their hands, and nobody has control over it. Moss has 7 turnovers, as Red said, but we're only up by 6 or 7 points. You know, we haven't had that margin where we can take complete control of the game. So what's up with that? How do we capitalize off of their mistakes?
Well, one thing, we have to run. The bigs have to run, and the guards have to look up and continuously look up. Like I said, when Butler got that block, we went and got a foul, an opportunity for points on the board. If we don't put ourselves in the right opportunity, then we can win this game, and we're allowing Cabrini to stay in the game by not capitalizing off of turnovers.
Like Feek said, turnovers, you have to capitalize. Newman, I feel like they are turning them over, but they're taking bad, quick shots. Yeah. Instead of, if it's not a fast break, you should back it out and get a good possession, because every possession is key against a Cabrini team. If you take a couple possessions off, then now they come down and hit a 3. Now momentum shift again. So you got to when you do turn them over, you got to capitalize on it.
So, you know, this isn't the NBA, of course, guys, but we watch how Cleveland Cavaliers, they had a big transformation over the offseason, right? You know, Kevin Love, of course, the great LeBron James. Then they get this new coach who has only coached overseas. And then, so it's that relationship with, an unknown coach, so to speak, with a talented player. We're looking at Cabrini, and I can see a lot of that. You know, they're like our Cleveland Cavaliers of the CSAC. Just tell me about how that is. You know, what does this coach need to do to gain their trust? Because right now it doesn't seem like he has Anwar Ahmad's trust.
Well, for one, he has to, like you said, get their trust. I see a lot of Anwar Moss doing more of the coaching more than the coach. He's trying to help him out. Like you said, a new coach, it's a new beginning. LeBron James is helping out his coach, like Anwar Moss is also doing. He's pulling Vinny Walls to the side. He's pulling guys to the side and saying, hey, that's a bad shot, or this is what you need to do. He's talking on defense. He's doing it all, and his team needs to trust in him, and Anwar Moss needs to trust in his coach, like you said, for this to keep it going.
Oh, yeah, I feel like Moss, he respects the coach because he was an assistant since he's been there, but at the same time, it looks like Moss doesn't think he knows as much as the former coach.
Right.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're running different offenses now, so things may be irregular to some of them players.
Right.
And I feel like if they get a key win, and one would be tonight, then things may shift and towards them going on a winning streak as we compared it to the Cavaliers. So one win can spark their season. It can change their season quick.
So the new offensive system. I like that, guys. Now, tell me about, we're number 1 right now.
Yeah.
And Mark just talked about freshman year. They was up in the first half. Tell me about what they need to do this second half to keep that up. You know, going in the first half, you up. It's a lot of game left to be played. So what does Newman need to do, and what does Cabrini need to do to come out this second half?
Well, Newman has to stay composed. They can't go into the locker room happy because they're up 6. Like, they didn't win the game yet, so they have to come out, stay composed, and actually put this team away. Go up by 15, 20 points. Then still don't get complacent and run your offense, and now you're taking away clock because you're up 15, 20. Now you don't have much to worry about. So if they stay composed and stick to what they're doing and how they got this lead, they'll be fine.
Well, for Cabrini, I believe Errol Moss has to buy in and let his team follow him because he needs to, every one-on-one opportunity he gets, he needs to take it and create for someone else of any walls and get the shooters, get them going, get other people involved, and take care of the basketball. You cannot have 7 turnovers and expect to be up at halftime, which they're down.
This is a new Errol Moss that we're seeing. As far as you two being his former competitors, how different does he look right now?
Well, he looks upset. He looks like he's complacent with taking threes. He's not trying to get to the basket. I remember last year it was just one-on-one. It was give him the ball, everybody clear out and move, and that's not what happened. I like what Newman's doing with going with the zone because there's basically 3 guys in his face every time he touches the ball, and he looks frustrated. It's a new team, like we said, and the guys he has to get used to playing with these new guys.
Oh yeah, he definitely looks unhappy. Go back to last year; they were 17-1 in the conference. This year they're 6-5. I know he's not happy.
Yeah.
So
happy.
if things going to change, like it has to start with the coach. Then it goes to him, and then he gets all the other players involved and have them buy in. But if he's not buying in, nobody else is going to buy in.
Nobody's going to buy it.
Can I ask? We're talking about new players. Newman, we have a lot of new players ourselves. Tell me how big of a difference and the impact they have on this new Newman team, if you want to say.
Well, for one, we don't have the Reggie Coleman and the Mark Blunt, so you got to exit them out of the equation. Now the load goes on to Kevin Green or Deshaun Loman, the guys that were been there last year to this year. And like I said, Deshaun Loman, he's eating right now. He's putting the team on his back, and everyone's followed. Also with James Butler, he is just a rebounding machine, and he's very active everywhere he goes. No matter defense, offense, loose ball, he's just everywhere. They need to just keep up the intensity, and they can definitely win this game.
Oh, yeah, as long as they ride on the coattail of Deshaun Loman right now, and Butler is the Dennis Rodman of this Newman team, I would say, then they need to ride that wave until
Let's ride it.
They can't ride no more, which is the championship. So
Yep.
if they keep this going, like, they should be a force to be reckoned with in the CSAC.
In previous years, when we talk about Newman having bigs, Rafiq being one of them, 6'4", 6'5", Mark Blunt, 6'4", 6'5" as well, Ambrose Cousin, Zach Thomas, this big man that played the big man position in the past. And now we see our new big men, like our James Butler, who's not as big as far as height, but they make up for it in athleticism. Tell me about our new big men and how impressed you are with them.
Well, for one, they're not a Mark Blunt that can obviously get above the rim every single play, but they're solid. They're strong. They hold their position on the block. They're beating up Cabrini's bigs every possession. I know the ref can't see it all, but I wouldn't want to be down there with Drew and Butler every play. So they're being real strong, and it's helping in their favor by rebounding the ball every possession.
So let's check in with Christian and Mark and get their thoughts on the first half.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I mean, we were looking over the first half stats, and the big thing is the turnovers are even, but Walton Moss has 7 turnovers, so Mark pointed out. And Reggie, I heard you talking about Walton Moss having a rough game in the first half, and he really is with 7 turnovers.
Yeah, Mark, what are you seeing that's different from previous years to when you was playing with Newman versus Cabrini to now, Mark?
I see a lot more ball movement going along with Newman. So ball movement, also on the defensive end, communication. Them talking and getting out to the shooters, they kind of fell back from that when Vinny and they had a couple open threes. But further in the first half, they really improved on that. That's how they got the 6-point lead.
Thanks, guys. We're going to get back to you at the second half.
Thanks, guys.
See you.
See you. So, Rafiq, I know we kind of missed it going in the pregame. You had an X factor. Tell me your X factor.
I already talked about it when we came in here. He's doing this right now, ladies and gentlemen. He's eating. He's doing it all. He's rebounding the ball. He's scoring the ball, and he's being a leader on that team like he should. And as long as he keeps it up, he can't come out here and shoot a 1 for 9 for the second half. That's not going to work. Keep taking good, selective shots, and we should win this game.
You know how Charles Barkley used to scream out, Ginobili!
Yeah.
D-Lo! So, Reg, before we go, do you have any keys to the second half?
Kevin Green is my X factor.
Ooh.
So there it is, folks. We'll see you at the post game. Enjoy the second half. I'm Ryan, Rafiq, Reggie. See you at the second half. At the end of the game.
All right, welcome back. We're about to start the second half, and another thing that I saw, Mark, was the three-point shooting from Cabrini. They hit 5 threes. Newman only hit 1. It was Kevin Green hit that 1, and that's really what's keeping Cabrini around in this game. I would say is the three-point.
If you eliminate the 3 points, that's 15. So 15 off of 31, you're looking at 14 points.
I mean, even if you trade off with a couple 2-pointers here and there, your lead's much bigger than 6 right now. But like you said, you expect Newman to get out and just keep running and doing the same thing that they have to.
Let's just hope they're not complacent with where they're at right now. They want to
one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So we'll see what they do coming out of the half. We got about 30 seconds till the second half resumes. And do you expect Walton Moss to pick it up?
I expect it.
Yeah, he averages 18. He only has 4. So
D3 Player of the Year last year. This is not one of his better halves coming into a game at an atmosphere like this, but he should be able to pick it up. So we'll see.
Yeah, we're primed for a good finish here in the Mirenda Center.
It's going to be a great second half.
I want to thank everybody for sticking around for Game 2 of the doubleheader, if you caught the first one as well. As Newman breaks their huddle. Remember to stay tuned down to 4, and that is going to do it. Cabrini comes in to the Mirenda Center on Newman's home floor and takes this one 80-71, the final score, and that's going to put Cabrini at 7-5 and 10-9 overall, and that's going to put Newman, drop them down to 7-4. They're still going to be in second place right now, but Cabrini certainly proved something here tonight. They've been having a lot of trouble really all season at 6-5, but tonight they played great team basketball, I would say.
And that's like coming from the losses that they have in the previous games. Like they come here today, they like, this is the number 1 team in the CSAC.
Yeah.
Let's show them like Cabrini basketball.
Usually it's the other way around. Usually Newman's in this game going, this is Cabrini, they're the number 1 team, so let's give them our best game. But Newman just couldn't quite hold on here. And 80-71 is the final. Cabrini, Walt Moss, the leading scorer. Vinny Walls certainly contributed with the three-pointer. Ronnie Payton certainly contributed as well. And what did you see from Walton Moss that he did really well in that second half?
Second half, just continued like what he was doing. Like as an overall player, he was able to get in the lane and dish it out, or get to the lane, get a foul.
Yeah.
Like he's a very strong, athletic guy. So him getting to the lane it's a lot that he can do once he get there.
Yeah, that certainly was the difference. Again, the final score 80-71. We're going to throw it over to Ryan Stokeling and the crew for a post-game show. And Ryan, take it away.
Thanks, Kristen. Reg, feet. Man, what happened? I mean, we were up at the half, of course, 37-31, and it just turned tables for us at the end. What happened, fellas? Like, that's crazy.
This is what happens every game. We go in, it's a close game, and Cabrini just turned it on. Deshaun Loman, he stopped doing this. He put it in the refrigerator and left it for tomorrow, I guess.
Wow.
His leftovers.
We doing leftovers now.
It's leftovers.
We doing leftovers.
I'm done eating. I'm putting this away.
I'm full at halftime.
Yeah. He scored one more point after that. I mean, Drew put in, he had 18 and 9. He carried the load. Butler kept rebounding, but they just couldn't play any more defense. Aaron Moss, what did he do? He must have hurt us.
I think he did.
He stopped turning over that ball. Yeah,
he must have had his app on during the game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Get some fruit in them.
Yeah, he had something.
Yeah, but Newman didn't do anything we said they should do to win this game. Halftime, they didn't stay composed.
Nope.
Seemed like they went into the locker room thinking they won the game.
Can't think that.
Instead, they came back in the second half, and Cabrini put it on them.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Dad.
So, and Aaron Moss, he had 7 turnovers in the first half. I believe 1 in the second half.
Yes, sir.
He changed his game around, too. So
Just like that.
just when he turns his game around, the team goes with him, and they won the game.
So, look, they're going to go, Cabrini's going to go 7-5. We're going to, of course, we got this L now. But just talk about the psyche of Newman versus Cabrini. Like we was talking about before we went back on live, is there something about us that we just can't break? We just have to lose to them almost. It's like a psyche thing.
Well, like I said, this happens every game. If it's a close game at halftime or if it's a blowout, Newman just doesn't show up in the second half when we play Cabrini. And like you said, now we go to 7-4 to their 7-5. So like now we take one more loss. We're tied with them, and they were number 6 in the CSAC. And I know it sends a message to Gwen Mercy, Immaculata, Rosemont, like wow, Cabrini. I guess they woke up because these Newman teams beat us. So it just opens the league even more.
It's like Newman can't play a full 40-minute game against Cabrini ever.
Yeah.
Even if it's 36, 37, you still end up losing by 10 somehow.
Yeah.
You got to play a full 40 minutes of, I wouldn't say perfect basketball, but close to it to beat Cabrini because they capitalize on all the little mistakes you make. You turn the ball over. They get layups or and ones. They capitalize and break the composure of Newman's team. Newman has to get back into practice, maybe even need a team meeting because they don't even look like they're together on the court. And something has to change because they don't look like they play for one another.
To our viewers, I do want to say if you are watching, of course, on via the app or Twitter, online, if you have a Twitter, Instagram, or even Facebook, please use our hashtag. We would like to know your thoughts and your feelings towards our first time doing this show. Hashtag Showtime Sports. So now we're going to go over to Mark and Christian and see what their feelings are of the game.
Thanks, guys. We're here for a post-game interview with assistant coach Ellerby here. Coach, from your perspective on the you were on the bench. What did you see happening? Guys had a lead at halftime, and then you went up 40-31. I think Kevin Green hit the three to start the half, and then all of a sudden, just stopped.
I think for the first 20 minutes we played very well. We moved the ball, we defended. We did all the things that Coach wanted us to do. Just coming out of halftime, we just lost our focus a little bit. And Cabrini got a couple easy buckets and got them going. And they're a good team, so when they get going, it's hard to stop them.
Yeah, and me and Mark were talking about Walt Moss and how much he contributed. He really didn't do much in the first half with point-wise, statistic-wise, but his ability to get to the rim and penetrate his own defense, I mean, he kind of did it really all night. And then you guys switched to man-to-man, and you had Denzel on him. And he just kind of took the game over, I would say, from a point guard.
I mean, he's a great player. He's been playing good all year, been playing very well all year. And when we switched to man, we just couldn't keep him in front. And then he made a couple tough baskets, and he was able to penetrate the lane and get his teammates open shots and easy layups. So we just couldn't keep him out of the lane. He was a good player.
Yeah, I bet you could have used a guy right here.
Coach, this is Ryan Stokeland from Showtime Sports. Deshaun Loman, he had an excellent first half. What was your take on his first half? And he kind of died down the second half. So how do you feel about his overall performance today?
I think Deshaun played well. He's been playing well all season. I wouldn't say he died down in the second half. I think the defense made adjustments, and he just had to make the play. And he just wasn't able to score as much. And Deshaun's been doing what he's been doing all year, just being a bully, being a bull, just being around the rim and just getting things done, and that's what he does. And just on the second half, the defense made some adjustments, and he wasn't able to score as much, but he still contributed to the game.
Coach, you made a great point. Also, just as far as you guys might see this team in the playoffs, so what are some takeaways that you guys have now going into practice and going further down the road? Because, like I said, you guys might see them. If you face Cabrini, what's the next thing for you guys?
Well, we will have to go over the film from this game and previous game before this and see just little nuances we can use to get an advantage. But we will have to look over the film. I can't say just off a naked eye what we can do right away.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was good having you. Looking at your schedule, you guys got some tough games coming up. But, you guys are sitting pretty right now. You're atop the team.
The league's still wide open, and you never know what can happen. And we got a group of great guys, and we got a great coach, so we're going to get this thing rolling.
All right, well, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, thank you for coming on. Again, the final score, 80-71, and we're going to throw it back over to Showtime Sports to wrap it up here. So from everyone at NSN, we're going to throw it back to Ryan Stokely and the crew. And thank you for Mark Blunt. I'm Christian Aluzio. And back to Ryan.
All right, Ryan.
Thank you, Christian, and thank you, Christian and Mark. So, guys, your takeaways. If you need to go to the next game or the next time you might see Cabrini, what is your takeaway if you're on the team?
Well, one, I definitely don't want to put my head down because, like the Coach Malcolm said, the league is wide open. We just got to keep winning. We can't lose to the teams we beat. Composure. Keep your composure. Like Reg said, in the second half they weren't composed. They just let Cabrini literally take the ball away from them and put it in the basket. That's all I was going to say.
Lost for words, huh?
Yeah, it's terrible.
But
Cat got your tongue.
Yeah.
Like Coach Malcolm said, this game in particular, they didn't stay focused in the second half. They lost composure, they lost their focus, and it showed on the court in that second half. It was a completely different game, it looked like. Cabrini did whatever they want, and Newman, they just kept turning the ball over, wasn't scoring, and now Cabrini has a 10, 12-point lead. And once they get rolling, like Coach Malcolm said, it's hard to stop them. And when Aaron Juan Moss gets to the rim, it's hard to stop him.
Guys, Reg, if I can ask you one question, playing with Kevin Green last year, and y'all two was a powerful backcourt, like Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, Splash Brothers. Yeah. I'm gonna throw that out there.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah. Oh, feet. Oh man.
Yeah.
But
You can be Draymond Green.
if you're Denzel Yard, or just being you, what's some advice that you can give Denzel on how to play with Kevin Green, how to look for him, his spots, his tendencies, just know your counterpart?
Well, one, in practice, they have to get that down pat. In practice, if they're on the same practice team or practice squad, they have to get the chemistry down. When Denzel drives, Kev should know where he should slide to, and Denzel should know where he's going to be so he can have his feet set and he can get the best shot possible. And if Denzel Yard can get all the way to the rim without passing, then you can do that too. As a point guard, you're the best decision maker, or should be, on the court. So if he gets that down packed, they shouldn't be in trouble. It's two game losing streak, but it's like 5 or 6 more games left to still finish in first place.
Same question, so to speak. If you are looking at your big men down low, your James Butler, your Moy, Deshaun Loman, he can be a big or he can be that power guard. What are your advice? I know that you was a defensive mind player. On defense, what would you like to see more? Down low.
Well, one thing, definitely talk a lot more. In the first half, they did a great job talking about screens, rolling, who's where on the zone. In the second half, it just died out. And another thing, the numbers might be there, but there were a lot of missed opportunities in the first half that could have had a better lead that would have kept their confidence up going into the second half. A lot of open layups, easy free throws. I mean, other than that, they did an all right job and just always talking. Talking is like, I can't stress it enough. That's the most important thing on defense.
Tell me the little things that you didn't see. One thing that I didn't see, I really don't think that Newman, it might sound like a cliche, but I don't think Newman really wanted the ball more as Cabrini. I seen one time Cabrini dove 3 players, including Anwar Morris. You don't see a lot of superstars diving on the floor, but I seen they wanted that ball. That's one thing that I seen. What's something that you guys would like to see Newman do more that really is kind of, it doesn't get a lot of attention?
Well, one thing I wanted to see, after every foul made, let's all huddle up. Let's not have one guy talking to the ref or another guy over there to the side. Let's huddle up and talk. Hey, that's a bad foul. We need to get a good shot after this. Box out. Who has shooter? Like I said, talking. It just comes back down to the talking. They got to talk.
Like Feek said, huddle, and also don't, when your teammate does something bad, don't yell at him.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, try to say it in a way that it won't bring him down even more after he made a mistake. Put it in a good way so the next play he'll make the right play and not make another bad play, and then it keeps escalating. So huddling and basically showing that the team is together on this ride through this season. Like, if you're each man for yourself, season is they're going to continue to lose, and then everybody's not going to trust each other or the coaches. So if they stay together, they will make the playoffs and do damage in the playoffs.
We talked about this being the Cleveland Cavaliers of the CSAC, Cabrini, of course, and their new head coach and their new, basically, coaching staff. So what happened? What do you think that he said to his team during that halftime that had them come out like, yeah, coach is right, let's buy into a system? Because clearly they bought into that system. They listened to him. So what happened? What do you think that coach, the Cabrini coach, did for that team?
We need to turn it up. We need to stop turning over the ball. And I'm hoping, or he said something to Erwin Moss and showed the team that no man is less than each other. Everyone is equal here. Erwin Moss, you need to take care of the ball. And he did that. Vinny Walls, you need to make open shots. And he gave him a good speech, and obviously it helped him win this game.
I felt like he went into the locker room being honest. I feel like he said, hey, guys, if you plan on making the playoffs or even getting a shot at still being number one, you can't lose to Newman today. And if you lose today, we may not make the playoffs.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
I think that right there can wake a team up and see, like, if they really care about this season, turning it around. So I feel like that's what he said. And Cabrini, they turned it around. They won by 10 points or 9.
I was going to ask this during the half, how much of a statement win this could be for Neumann University. You know, the fact that we never could get over that hump as far as beating Cabrini, but now we don't have a statement win. We kind of have a statement loss, so to speak. What does Newman need to do to send out a message to those other teams that we lost to Cabrini, who's not the Cabrini that we've known in the past? Even though some of you guys beat them, we lost to them, but we're still top dogs in this conference.
Well, one thing they need to do is beat the Gwen Mercies, beat the Rosemont, beat the Keystones that they already beat the first round. Because honestly, if I'm those teams and I see, hey, you guys are still the same Newman. You guys are still losing to Cabrini. You haven't beat them in the last 5 years or whatever it was. And just keep winning. Because like we said, the league is wide open. Every win or loss is very important to your standings in this conference.
I feel like the other teams in the conference, they're looking at Newman after today's game, and they're not for real. They can't win the big game, so to speak. Cabrini is still a good team, but Newman cannot win the big game and get over that hump. So with this loss, every team thinks, oh, Newman's not really number one. They just record-wise they're number one, but not talent-wise. We're still better than them. So every team isn't looking at Newman as the top dog.
You're right, Reg. So we do need to fix something going back to that drawing board. The Knights fall to Cabrini 80-71. That is it for this edition of Showtime Sports on the Neumann Sports Network, powered by Neumann Media. We'd like to thank everyone for viewing tonight's first show, and especially the staff of Neumann Sports Network. Danielle, Taj, Chris, Anthony, Matt, Luis, our producers, Mike and Brian, our play-by-play in color, Christian and Mark, and our advisors, Jack, Ryan, Pat Fay, and Sean McDougall. Also, I would like to give a special shout-out for our cameraman inside the studio, Mel Weldon. For Reggie, Rafiq, and all of Neumann Sports Network, I'm Ryan Stokeland. Have a great Neumann night.